Ministers say there's still an expectation for the public to wear masks even after restrictions are lifted. But are face coverings effective, and will people continue to wear them? NTD's Werrell brings us this report.
Restrictions will ease, but masks won't be discarded yet. Earlier I spoke to Gary Sidley, who worked with the NHS for 33 years as a clinical psychologist. He's concerned that masks aren't effective. I've noticed that some studies say face masks are effective and other studies say they're not effective. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, it's quite a mixed bag, isn't it? It's quite a very contentious issue. I think the overall conclusion is that if you focus on the more robust studies in real world settings, then I think the conclusion is that the evidence is at best weak and inconsistent that masks actually have any significant impact on reducing viral transmission. Some of the studies that support it tend to be kind of laboratory-based or modelling studies, or using high-quality medical masks that are worn correctly all of the time, and that doesn't really reflect the real world, in my opinion. For me, though, I think probably the most important issue is that masks are not a benign intervention.
He says that mask wearing is contributing to heightened levels of fear and friction in society. I feel that, there's a divide between some people who want to wear a mask and people who don't want to wear a mask. And it seems that each side is kind of uncomfortable about the other's decision. So yes, how has that come about?
I think that's right. I think you make a really good point, but it does feed in again to the psychological strategies that are being used to get people to comply. I mentioned one of them being normative pressure. Another one is around ego. Again, just to briefly explain, human beings like to believe that they're good and virtuous. We like to. That's our self-image. It's a nice self-image if we think we're a good person. And again, very skillfully, the behavioural scientists have managed to put out the message that following the regulations, including masks, is akin to being a virtuous person, a good person. So this has been a major contributor, I believe, to some of the friction that you do get between the masked and the non-masked, because it becomes almost like a religious symbol and an icon of the ones that are doing good, the people who are masked, and the miscreants, those non-conformists who are kind of the baddies in all this. And I think that is, again, a really important way of getting people to conform. So masks are a really powerful way of getting people to follow the rules.
We asked people if they'd continue to wear face masks after July the 19th. Here's what they had to say.
I mean, it's so hot today, and wearing a mask is a pain. But, for me, whilst I'm pregnant, I'm just going to keep it on. But I might change my mind and have a vaccine and then just whip it off.
Personally, I think just on the whole, it's probably fair enough to still be wearing masks where it's deemed mandatory, on the tubes and the trains.
I haven't really bothered the whole time, to be honest, so it doesn't bother me.
I think that people should be free to do, use their common sense and to think, will I wear a mask? Will I not wear a mask? I think it's up to them.
It seems incredibly arrogant and disrespectful to people who work in the NHS to suddenly put them at risk when there's no medical fact on why we should not have. There's nobody said, you shouldn't wear face masks anymore because it's proved they don't work.
Yes, as far as shops and anywhere where there's a lot of people, then yes, I'll still be wearing a face mask.
It looks like a mixed response on whether face masks will or won't be worn from next week, suggesting the move to give people personal choice over the matter is the right way to go. Jane Werrell, NTD News, London.